I worked for 30 years at the interface between global health and emergency and humanitarian work, and I've come to realize that we are badly letting down the most unfortunate 1 billion people in the world who are struggling every day with conflicts, disasters and crises. At this year's Evidence Live, I will focus on the special situation of healthcare for the billion or so people on the planet who are living every day in crisis, disasters, conflicts, at the front line of major events which are creating problems for them.
My talk at Evidence Live this year is going to be called Whose Evidence? And I'm going to challenge us all in the audience to think about how do we enhance the role of patients and the public in producing evidence, to developing the right sort of research methodology to produce that evidence, but also then how do we disseminate it well. I think we've got to get much better at involving patients and the public, particularly at that design stage. We already know from the work that NIHR does, but also others, that how it has a very beneficial effect in terms of efficiency, effectiveness, but also the outputs of that research. But not all funders and institutions do that, and we need to get that to happen. I also want to challenge people around this notion that somehow patient experience and patient insight is of perhaps less value than the work or the experience, the evidence being produced by researchers through a clinical trial, for instance. I think we really have to understand that people's knowledge and expertise gained through their coping with their condition or managing their condition is of amazing value, and we should be using it more as part of healthcare.
Well, we need actually less research, but we need better research, and we need research done for the right reasons. And these are all the ways that we can try and reduce the waste in health research. There's just too much research which starts in the wrong place, isn't well written up, isn't well published, and in the end is no use to patients and clinicians. So I'm talking about how to try and reduce that waste, but particularly with the involvement of patients.
I've had a long interest in addressing the weaknesses I've seen in the methodology and reporting of medical research. And I've been encouraged by some developments, but also discouraged by other developments in terms of the ever-growing volume of not very useful research. I'm hugely encouraged by events like this, which bring together people with a common goal of trying to raise awareness and raise the value of the research which is done. And when you get different groups of people in a room together with a common purpose, then it is exciting. And there are no big egos, it's simply a matter of discussing what's wrong and what can we do to make it better.
I think all of us involved in the evidence-based medicine manifesto have come to feel frustrated that there are lots of academic publications documenting and describing the problems. There are lots of publications telling you what proportion of trials go unreported, what proportion of conflicts of interests aren't disclosed, but there's much less emphasis on how to fix these problems. We want to hear about new ideas of new things that you think people could and should do, but we also want to hear about things which people have tried in the past. We want to hear if they were successful or unsuccessful, how they could be improved on. And what we hope will come out of this is a jobs list, a list of things that journals can do, things that researchers can do, things that funders can do, and then we can sit down with people from those communities and say, hey, everybody in the world of evidence-based medicine has written you a jobs list, and we can talk through which of these we think are deliverable, achievable, and start to think about how we might prioritise them.